Okay. Hold on a second.
Good evening. I'm Jerry McIntosh, and this is Our Voices, the People's Media. This evening, we're going to address the issue of the Supreme Court as one of our main topics this evening. And we have a lot of other hot topics that we're going to address. But first, let me go to the host, Mr. Bill Snow, who is an author from The Project to the Boardroom. Dr. Isaac William, the great pastor of Greater True Vine Baptist Church, and also the moderator for this area. Carol McIntosh, former educator, principal, and administrator, now the president of the Progressive Black Women. So we're going to get right into it, Carol.
Hey, hello, hosts. Good evening.
Good evening.
There's a lot of rain here in Pensacola, but we're lucky. You know, I feel for the people in New Orleans. I really do. But I am so happy it did not hit Pensacola. You know, we're having a little of the rain bands, but a category 4. Can you imagine that coming here and all the things that we would have to have done to prepare and get out of here? So I'm feeling blessed. How do y'all feel about it?
I feel extremely blessed. I tell you, I've been praying. I was actually wishing it would go over around California where they need a little rain from the heavens with all the fires out that way. So I was pushing it that way, but God said not so.
Bill and I think very much alike. I was just sharing with my wife. I say, you know, all of this rain, if it could go out there in the West where all those wildfires, it could put them out and save so many lives at home. But my wife said it's the Lord's doing.
Yes.
And so I accept that. I don't feel good about it not coming to Pensacola because it has to go somewhere, and that means someone else got to suffer. And I was listening to several individuals on TV, and they predict that they may be without power for months out in that area. And I remember when Ivan came here and we were out of power for about a month. It was miserable. It was hot, you know, air. And so it's going to be miserable on those people. And so we'll be praying from them that God will comfort them even in this hurricane experience.
And there's so many other dynamics that we have to look at, because we have to look at, they were discussing, since the capacity of the hospitals are totally full, during the hurricane, if someone gets ill, someone gets hurt, you know, a lot of things happen during and after the hurricane, and they will not be able to take anyone else. And also, if they lost their homes due to the hurricane and tornadoes or anything like that, then they were going to try to ship those people. They didn't want a shelter, you know, so you didn't hear about a lot of shelters. Go to this shelter, go to that shelter. They told them to shelter in place. But afterwards, they're going to send a lot of the people that are homeless due to the hurricane to different states and locations. And I'm sure a lot will come here. What do y'all feel? How do you feel about that? People coming here, they won't have any place else to go. I mean, and they can't stay in the shelters for a long period of time due to COVID. They're going to have to dispense them somewhere, maybe Texas, Florida, Tallahassee, because they won't have any place to live. What do you think about that, Bill?
Well, I was driving back from Mississippi on Friday night, and there was a whole bunch of traffic coming this way. Then, as I was going 3-4 hours earlier, I seen it coming this way. But you know, they have to go somewhere, and it might as well be here. We just have to be mindful wherever we or they go, that we must do all of the things that is necessary to protect not only ourselves, but those around us. But they have to go somewhere. And, this land is your land, this land is my land, and we don't want no immigrants. But these are Americans. I want immigrants, but I'm just saying, you know how they, but these are Americans, and they didn't ask for a storm. And if they lose property, house, what have you, I mean, hey, man, this is the time where America Strong really comes to the surface, and it's just right to do right. And we just have to keep in mind that we have to do all the things that are necessary to stay safe.
Jared?
Yeah, well, definitely, when the Katrina hit, we just didn't have the virus when Katrina hit the last time. When Katrina hit, we had people dispersed here and throughout Texas and other places, Georgia, just a host of places that people went. Many of them never got back home. I hope that the New Orleans is not hit as bad as it did. This is the 16th anniversary of Katrina, and Katrina did some catastrophic damage to the well-being of people, to push people out of their homes, out of the lower 9th Ward over there. So it just was devastating, and hopefully in the future that it don't do the same thing to the people here. The fear is a lot of people have not been vaccinated from that area, and even relatives a lot of times are gonna push against people coming to their home. But the thing about it, people are gonna have to do some of this. Sacrifices have to be made some kind of way to protect people, and the federal government should be kicking in for hotels and all of that through FEMA. They should have prepared for that early on so people could get vouchers and be in hotels and around the country. And that means you got to come up with billions of dollars to put people up, especially if they don't have shelter to go to, other homes that they can go to. And even at that, they need to have some kind of voucher.
Dr. Williams, what do you feel about it? It is, isn't it strange, it's the 16th year anniversary of Katrina today. And now we have Ida coming in. What do you think about that? Is that kind of, being a pastor, is that kind of spiritual, 16 years to the day, and a category 4, possibly almost a 5 went in, and it's going to be catastrophic. It really is, after we actually see what's going on.
I think what was interesting in my mind, I thought about it, for the people who's able to evacuate and come to Pensacola, go to Houston, other places, the ones who perhaps need the most help are the ones who least able to travel. They can afford to come here, and those are the ones where I feel that ought to be an extra effort to try to assist them. We welcome the ones 16 years ago doing Katrina. In fact, we had several families that came and joined our ministry. Some of them 16 strong. I mean, it was exciting, and a lot of kids put them to work in ministry. But right now we're not able to do that. And so even if they get here, we can't, like then we had people in our church who could adopt different ones and do stuff for them and help them out. Well, we're still meeting virtual, so they can't come to our church to meet our members and things of that nature. And so it is ironic though, it's 16 years to the day that Ida decided to visit the coast of. I'm not sure there's a spiritual connection. I think it is a moment that we ought to wake up and realize though that climate change is real.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I believe that these hurricanes, these tornadoes, these wildfires, all of this is a direct result that we haven't taken care of what God entrusted to us, his earth.
Mm-hmm.
And he did love the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he created it for us, and we because of greed. When I say we, I'm talking about the whole world, especially China, India, United States, great polluters. And instead of trying to stop the pollution, they still trying to get more money. And so these nations have to understand it's going to come at a point of no return, that the earth going to catch on fire, and the Bible will fulfill itself where it said, not by water, but by fire next time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, but what are we going to do? We're not even in the peak season, hurricane season yet. I mean, not well. They said September 21st, I think, is around the peak season for hurricanes.
Mhm.
And Pensacola, we're not out of the woods to get a hurricane ourselves. Do you think that we should start thinking, maybe not this year, but next year, about, Jerry always talk about, what was that fund you always talk about?
Yeah, we need a survival fund and a legal defense
A legal
fund.
defense fund and a
For-
survival fund for
yeah,
people that,
Yeah,
if they come here, then maybe we can pay for a couple of hotel rooms, or because sometimes FEMA will only give them 2 or 3 days.
Mhm.
There was one lady in Pensacola that had a fire or something.
Yeah.
She was on Channel 3 News, and she said that they only gave her
One night.
One night.
One night in a hotel. That was what's the name of that?
Tree fell on her mobile home.
Yes. Was that the lady?
One
Yeah,
night.
One
night,
night.
yeah.
And so what do you do then? So, I mean, these are things that we need to think about, because like Pastor said, we have to do something. And like Bill, you said, this is a time to help our neighbors and the community. So we've got to think about that there's some people that might come here and they might not have any place to go, and they can't stay. They can only stay in that hotel for a week. Maybe they'll pay for just a week. What do we do if there's a situation like that? Do we just let them just fall by the wayside, or does the Pensacola community do something? Of course, it'll be organized and formed. What do you think about that? And I'm gonna ask Carlton, since he came in. Hey, Carlton, how you doing? Ask him to jump in on that and give us some input. What do you think, Bill?
Bill or Carlton?
Bill, and then I'll have Carlton jump in.
Oh, okay. I think that's a great idea. I like Jerry's idea of a fund for folk that are misplaced like that, because we know well too often that FEMA and the federal government and if you grew up like I did in the project, everyone knows that charity just doesn't quite make it to the ghetto. So yeah, there needs to be some kind of fund so we can rise to the occasion when our brothers fall, because we are our brother's keeper.
Is there something the city could do about that, Pastor? You have connections down there, you and Jerry. Is there something that the city could do, as far as, I know they're going to push you to Red Cross, and they're going to push you to Catholic Charities and some other places, but there's not a particular fund that we could distribute money to? Or can we just do it? Everybody say, well, hey, I'll sponsor one family one night, or I'll sponsor 2 nights. How could we do that if we saw there was a need?
I think they got a program that they're starting to institute in Pensacola, dealing with homelessness, and what they are asking, and I'm on the clergy side of this piece, is they're asking every church to adopt one homeless person. And they want that church to assign 10 people to that homeless person, not to bring them into their home, but one person will be responsible of making sure that person can get to their medication, another one get to their doctor appointment, another one can take them on interviews. So if you can get 10 people, maybe that person on a volunteer one time that month to help that homeless person for them to reacclimate, to re-engage, reassemble back into society. And I think something very similar to that, if we can have a concept where when people are displaced or in need, that different entities, we can use the fraternities, we can use under Brockharton, I think they got all the lawyers of America. They got things going on. They got the funeral home people. All of these people got, and if we can get these entities to come together and say, okay, we will do this, we can do this. I think we're going to have to do it ourselves. I don't think the government is going to do it.
Yeah.
We have to have a leadership, and then all to come up on one umbrella and try to make it happen. But I think we have to do something. And if we do it, our young people want to be engaged. Our young people, they don't just want to come together. They want to do stuff. If you will give them something that they can do that's meaningful and that bring value, they'll participate. But they're not going to sit around and argue about who's going to be the chief, who's going to be the leader and stuff like that.
Right.
They're going about their business.
Yeah. But one of the things before we go to Carlton is that we definitely, you hit it on the head, Dr. Williams, when you said we got to do it ourselves. We need a catastrophic fund. We need a legal defense fund. Those two funds we need for survival, because the legal defense fund can take us into court on stuff or file injunctions and all of that for to help us to either slow something down or stop it all together. With a catastrophic fund, that means that we have catastrophic incidents all around the country, and it affects Black people the most. FEMA has shown itself to be indifferent to Black people in their condition, regardless of what status you have in life. Yeah. FEMA has shown themselves to be indifferent to the people. Amen. And so we have to make sure that we have something that we can sustain ourselves, and then we have to have a legal defense fund. So when they discriminate and show indifference toward us, that we can sue them if possible and bring attention to the issue that's so badly needed in our community.
And talking about FEMA, Black people don't want to give all that information. FEMA asks for a whole lot of personal information that they're just not comfortable in divulging.
And when they give all that ton of information, they get rejected anywho. So, I mean,
they get rejected, right? Yeah. Right. Carlton, what do you think from a lawyer standpoint? What should we do when we have these displaced people that's coming due to disasters? How can the community help and assist without government intervention?
We want government intervention.
You do, but if you can't get it,
you can't get it.
So I'm not sure about a legal defense fund, because usually you do that when you want to file a lawsuit, against I'm sure you heard about the Time's Up movement. They have a Time's Up legal defense fund that their executive director recently resigned because she was supporting or actually opposing one of Governor Cuomo's or former Governor Cuomo's accusers around the sexual misconduct accusations. And so, that kind of defense fund, they would typically take on cases of women who make those kind of claims to have to go to court and sue people that they're claiming had engaged in sexual misconduct toward them. And so that's why it's like a legal defense fund where, the money in that fund is going toward legal defense.
Right.
In that case, victims of, sexual misconduct. With like the NAACP legal defense fund, that has to do with like people that have been discriminated against based on their race in particular. And that's what they take on. Those kind of cases are on voting rights, law enforcement stuff, etc. Environmental justice, right? So I don't know if what you mean is a legal defense fund for this. Like if you're saying that you want to sue somebody because of the damage caused by the natural disasters and the lack of preparation for it, or if you're just saying there should be a fund of money that is accumulated over time that would, when things like this happen, kind of like a, you know, like a bail fund. You know, you hear
Yeah.
about these community bail funds, right? Like, for
Mhm.
instance, you'll have like a bail fund for protesters, you know, when you protest, like in Florida, against like voting rights restrictions laws, and they, you know, arrest you under the anti-riot, anti-protest law, right? Then, you know, you could have people that put aside money so that the people that get arrested can, you know, use that money to pay for their bail, so they can come out and pay for their legal fees and all of that. So, you know, I think that if anything, you mean more like a bail fund where you have money put aside when instances like this happen. That money can go toward assisting people in need when it comes to like housing and like, you know, other, you know, services that people, direct services that people are going to need in that moment. And I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm sure there are models of that already exist. I'm not sure of it, but I definitely think that the Panhandle in particular in Florida, actually all of Florida, but especially the Panhandle in South Florida, really need to have, and like the Tampa Bay area, everywhere where there's like water, like I guess Duval as well, you know, anywhere where there's water, you know, Daytona Beach, all of that. I mean, there needs to be money put aside for when these disasters happen, because they are going to continue to happen more often, more frequently, and they're going to, you know, be more severe in regards to their impact. And so, you know, there definitely needs to be money put aside for that. Now, the question is, who's going to do that on a consistent basis? I mean, where do you find the philanthropists who are willing to put money into that? If it be just regular people donating $20, right? That could accumulate to some money, or if it's actually like big money, like Soros, financing or, you know, subsidizing these kinds of funds is the question. And then the other issue is, how consistent will it be? Will they just do it for now because it's trending, you know, or is it going to be over a long period of time because it's what's practical? It's what makes the most sense. And I mean, it's hard to get funding for the more practical stuff, which is sad that these days funders tend to fund efforts that are trending, right? Like, you know, the defund effort, when that was like, you know, the new kid on the block, there was money coming out of everywhere, corporate America, private money, capital ventures, just giving money to anybody claiming defund. Now, defund is not what's trending anymore, right? It's actually toxic. You saw Cory Booker do a whole thing on it a couple of weeks ago about how the Democrats in the Senate do not support defund. And so now funders are not funding defund efforts for the most part. So, you know, to me, I just feel like, well, then what's the point of funding at all if you're just going to fund it when it's popular? They should be funding things for a long period of time for consistency. And that's a big problem in general, right? The lack of consistency of funding.
Right, but I think what we really need to look at and study, and I think you all, Pastor and Jerry, they're doing fantastic with this. We're going to talk about what's going on now with them, but it's got to be studied and temporary at the beginning. My thought was just, if someone only had 2 nights, that FEMA or whomever, Red Cross only gave them 2 nights, they had children, maybe we can sponsor another night or 3 nights. I know it might not seem like much, but it's a start. But it's something we need to think about and we need to talk about.
Well, let me say this. What I was talking about, Carl, was a separate fund, a legal defense fund and a catastrophic fund. The catastrophic fund would make sure that, because the thing about it, what we have to realize, none of us are immune from disasters that take place in the country. You know, we might be safe today, but tomorrow it could be us.
Amen.
And I'm saying that catastrophic fund should be something that's ongoing for the long haul into infinity. As a matter of fact, that we have something that we can pull down from, that our people are not left in the streets all the time, the last one to get to by FEMA. When FEMA come, we will have something already in place before we are end up not having a place to go, or hotels throwing us out on the streets and all of that. because we all are living many times on a budget, and that budget can easily be destroyed, or our homes could be easily destroyed because of where we live on the coast and all of that. The legal defense fund, what I'm talking about, every city, I think, should have a legal defense fund in that city because of different issues that take place that may not have national ramification, like the legal defense, NAACP legal defense fund, but we have a local defense fund to fight issues on a local level, as far as I'm concerned, or a state level. We always need that because so many times I see the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, they are jammed up with cases after case after case, fighting the same issue that we fought 100 years ago. So that's trying to salvage what we have in voting rights, civil rights, and discrimination, and all of that. So that's why I say every local city should have its own legal defense fund, of course, and support the national as well.
But Jerry, have we thought out who we're going to defend though? Are we defending everybody? Are we defending people who've been improperly arrested? Are we, as Attorney Carlton just said, are we going to defend a person if they make a charge against someone? Who are we going to defend? I think clarity, we need to think that out. This fund, who will we be defending? Will we be defending protesters? Who will we be defending? And I think once we get clarity on what this fund will be defending, I think then we could begin to get momentum on who we're going to defend. Will you defend me if I've been accused of sexual harassment, or if I've been accused of child molestation? Will you defend me for that?
No, gross injustice. Gross injustice.
You see what I'm saying?
Anniversary on today.
Right.
Shot 7 times in the back.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
Me getting the DUI will not be a defensible.
Right.
It's
but that has to be stated though. They got to be clear.
Let me say this. That would come when if you set up a legal defense fund, you would have lawyers to help set the parameters in which way you're going to go. Okay. We couldn't put something together right here. I mean, that cause it's a long-term thing. It had to be well thought out. And it can't be some haphazardly put together. It would have to be with somebody like Carlton who know and have worked in all these fields that can guide people through the thickets of it, I would say.
Well, let's go on to something else. Haiti, which is similar to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Gosh, what's going on there? They had a major hurricane. Earthquake. 7 point something, right?
7.2.
Yeah.
And then there was wasn't there a tropical storm that came behind that and hit Haiti?
Yeah, right.
So
this one now has come across.
And prior to that, the president was assassinated.
Yeah.
Right. So what do we do with Haiti? Is it being really pushed the way we think it should be pushed? Has it been on television the way it should be as far as the plight of the Haitians? What do you think?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brother Bill.
Well, it's getting little back page stories here and there, but no, ma'am, I don't think it's being the story in Haiti is being told quite the way it should. Don't mean to revert back, but Al Young, which is one of our faithful followers here, made a statement back during the FEMA thing, and I never get a chance to say read anything that he says. But first of all, he said get shots. But secondly, he said FEMA only pays commercial property and homeowners, and all Americans actually pay in. So when there's a major disaster, he's saying hurricane, what have you, that the FEMA only takes care of commercial businesses and homeowners, and he doesn't think that that's fair. But yes, ma'am, Haiti is being swept under the rug. It's a lot of with COVID running rampant, like Dr. Williams said, they just lost the president. And Yeah, I don't think it's getting almost the news story, the front page that in Afghanistan is getting. Absolutely.
Mm.
Well, and you're right. We 10,000 miles away, airlifting people to different parts of the world and even here. But Haiti, is a forgotten country, and we cannot allow the United States to forget Haiti. Haiti is part of where we got the Louisiana Purchase. Many things that took place in Haiti that saved us as Black people, because they were the first nation in this area in this hemisphere to fight for a free nation and win. And they didn't just win against the United States. They won it against the 3-4 other nations. And we just set an embargo. The reason Haiti is in the condition it is because of America, Great Britain, and France, because of the embargo we put around them. And they was forced to pay for their freedom had to pay to France for them being free. So the thing about it, we have to know these things, and then we have to stand up for Haiti and any other nation within this hemisphere. And we have to say to those other nations that's around Haiti, like the Dominicans and all of them, that they need to be chipping in, because Haiti was the one that caused them to be free.
Yes.
Well, where are the Haitians going? Are they sending? Are they just there, or are they sending them to different locations as well, or they're just in that environment still?
They in an environment that's not conducive for good living, because you got to think about they don't have in many places no running water. They don't have good sanitation because everything is torn down. In the earthquake, they hadn't recovered from the one in what was that 2010, when the other massive earthquake, when over 250,000 people died over there. So, and then every time the earthquakes come, these catastrophic storms come across there and just continue to devastate year in and year out. So this country infused Afghanistan with $2.5 trillion over the years, and was infusing it with $1 billion a month, but they won't even give $1 billion to somebody in our own hemisphere, where they sucking the lifeblood out of the resources that's there in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
go ahead, Carl.
There's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, one thing is, Afghanistan is also where the poppy seeds, a lot of the poppy seed production in the world happens. And, what are poppy seeds used to create? Heroin, which is a very, very profitable drug all around the world, and especially in the US market. And so anywhere where there's a drug market connection, you're going to see that kind of disparity in investment and action from the United States of America. There's been movies about it that have been famous. I forgot, it was the Syriana, I think was the name of the movie that or no, it wasn't the Syria, it was the other one before that. Traffic.
Yeah.
The movie Traffic that George Clooney in it. But one other thing I wanted to say, when we talk about Haiti being in the news, the question I want to ask in front of that is, has the March on Washington voting effort, has that been covered in the news?
Not like it should. No.
But we're going to get to that one. No,
I know, but I just want to say that, that ties in to the Haiti question,
We searched for it, Carlton. Jerry wanted to see it, so he was searching. He went to 35, 37, MSC. He went to everywhere. C-SPAN. They did not. You're right, Carlton. They did not cover that.
Okay. All right. I just want to mention that.
Michael Wilkerson says Haiti is the only country to defeat the slavers. Mm-hmm. They chased Napoleon out of the country.
Right.
Is that true?
Yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. They were. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that Ms. Carol, one of the things that we I've been in contact with people in Miami, and I had 2 meetings here on providing aid and assistance to the residents of Haiti. And
You're on everything.
the challenge came in when as they don't want to send money because they said that money will get into the hands of the wrong people, and the people who actually need the help won't get it. And so they saying because the government right now is in kind of turmoil, and they got a history of corruption, corrupt leaders out of Haiti, and so that's a challenge.
Like America, don't it? That sounds like America.
And then secondly, they a suggestion that we buy the products and don't send money, and then have a connect, which they have a couple connects in Haiti, who we just have to pay for the shipping. And then I talked with a young lady who has another connect, and she said that then hurt the economy because they can't go and buy money from their local economy to keep their economy going because we're shipping food over there. So it's complex. We actually tabled it at our meeting on Thursday because it's going to be it's a long term. Now, all of Haiti, and I just discovered this Tuesday, all of Haiti was not affected by the earthquake. In fact, they said it was really a small portion that got affected by the earthquake compared to the major population cities and things like that. They didn't get it. I thought the major cities, I know over 2,000 people died from the earthquake, but they said they got cities there like New York and major cities. They didn't get affected. They got larger cities that did not get it. And I'm learning now that may not be true, but that's the information that was provided me Tuesday. And so the issue now, we want to help. We're going to help, but we want to make sure that we are helping and that our resources are going to what's needed. And it was said that this is not going to be just like a hit it and quit it, and you're going to have to begin to invest, make a commitment to invest in them long haul. And it goes back to what we said earlier. If Haiti going to be rescued, Haiti must be rescued or will be rescued by Black people. Yeah. White America has no interest in Haiti. You remember the Cuban lift? They had a great interest in getting all the Cubans out because Cubans, their skin color looked closer to theirs. But with the same thing happened to Haiti, they wouldn't help Haiti. And so America is at our core, as James Cone said it, a racist nation, and they can try to change it all they want. And James Cone said, unless white America hate its whiteness and denounce it, they can't get to heaven. And when we were in seminary, most of the Black students in my class, they went against that. They said, oh, that ain't true. That ain't true. White can go to heaven too. But they really didn't understand the thesis of James Cone's statement. He said, anytime God showed up in the Bible, Old Testament or New Testament, he always showed up on the side of those who were oppressed. You can't find one time from Genesis to Revelation where God showed up and he was on the side of the oppressors. So he against the oppressors. They just don't know it. And we love white folks so much till we'll go against God to make sure they can get to heaven in our viewpoint, instead of calling it like we see it.
So what's going on now, though? Well, you know, we can't wait to help these people because how many weeks has that earthquake been? About 2 weeks? A month? And so what's been happening? What kind of rescue service do they have within this month's time? Have they had anyone?
Yeah, let me say this, Doc. You know, Port-au-Prince was one of the major cities that was hit in that earthquake because they got a big population. Now, up on the higher side of Haiti, where all of the people that have come in there from Korea and other places who run the businesses there, who are sucking the lifeblood, the resources, the oil that's in those areas, the minerals that they dig, that come out the ground, that run our computers and all of that, that's in Haiti. Haiti is like Africa. The country is not poor. The people are poor because other people come in and suck the lifeblood out the resources and the finances up. And we in America, not we, white people in America who run the governments here, forces those people to give up their resources. Like in France, certain parts of Africa got to pay them $500 billion every year. For what? And that's what people need to know, that these resources are being sucked out of these countries where the black people live because they don't have access to nuclear weapons to protect themselves from the onslaught that could come on them with the vast weapons that the Western white people use to conquer people and keep them under control. So that's the issue. And Haiti is that one of those countries that's in our hemisphere that's suffering from that.
Well, back to this one before we move on. Is anyone doing anything for the Haitians now?
The government is
Their government, our government.
Yeah, our government is actually down there helping them, but to what degree they are meeting their needs, I would say is minimal, but minimal. But beyond that, those are our brothers and sisters down there. Now, Let me clarify. Anybody think I'm against white people? I love everybody. Now, watch this. And I do believe white people will be in heaven. But he's talking about these people who are doing the oppressing of God's people. That's what James Cone is talking about. When he said white, it's just like all black folks ain't going to heaven. So, so it ain't just a blanket ticket, but he's saying because they have instituted white privilege and systematic racism in every institution in the United States, that
and
they
around the world
be held accounted for that. That's the argument, not that white people can't go to heaven. No, this white crap they set up so that they can feel like they have supremacy and they can rule the world. That's a no-go. That's a no-go.
One other thing, in the last hurricane, the last earthquake, it was billions of dollars raised. Do you know that it was only a few houses out of those billions of dollars that was raised, that was built in Haiti? Most of that money never went to Haiti. Most of that money is still sitting somewhere. And Bill Clinton was a part of that program that they had, and that money never got to Haiti in any fashion, because like they always use this crap, the government over there is corrupt. No, you corrupt. You corrupt the government. Yeah, the foundation, they corrupted the people by putting in dictators in Haiti for years and left it a shell of the country for what it was intended to be.
Well, moving on, Reverend Jesse Jackson, they both, him and his wife, caught COVID. He's now going into a rehab center, but his wife is still in the ICU because his wife was unvaccinated. So this leads us to talk about the Delta variant and should we get vaccinated or not, all the issues that's out there. I'm going to put it on Dr. Williams, and along with Jerry and some other.
Along with Carlton. Carlton is there in Chicago.
Well, I'm talking about the program that we're having here in Escambia County. You all are doing something here in Escambia County that I want you to discuss a little bit in regards to the vaccinations. And can you talk a little about that, Dr. Williams?
I certainly can, and I want to be brief because I know I take a lot of time up, and I don't want people to get vaccine fatigue because
they That's all right.
Yeah.
Because,
It's better than being 6 feet under.
You-
but what are you doing? You doing something?
Yes, yes. But just before I address that, Ms. Carol, but there's good news out there because it appears that the efficacy of the vaccine will begin to wear off in about 6 months. And initially, the Biden administration wanted to wait to 8 months for people to get the booster shot. Where Wednesday they reversed course. And now the booster shot is going to be available 6 months after you've gotten it. So that's very important because you need to remain protected, especially because this variant is so much more deadly and aggressive and the way it spreads. So instead of having to wait 8 months now, 6 months, you most likely in sometime mid-September, everybody will be able to get the vaccine. But other good part about that, with the approval of Pfizer being FDA approved, FDA is saying that the public can trust us now. They can have confidence in the vaccine that it meets all the high standards that they require for safety and efficacy and effectiveness, and with all the other drugs. So for anybody that start trying to talk that social media or wherever they get in, that misinformation and disinformation, so now the experts said that this vaccine will do what it said, and there's very little harm that'll come from it. Now, pivoting it back to your question you asked me, here in Pensacola, we partner and we off to horses running. We are getting people vaccinated. We had an incentive for the first 200 to sign up through the program, and we've signed up over 100 already. So we less than 100 left, and the program just started. We got to go all the way to January. So I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board probably in 2 weeks and get me another $100,000 from the mayor, or $80,000, because we're not trying to pay people, but just a little incentive. And it's something unique that I discovered. There's a lot of homeless persons that are not vaccinated. And we sent 2 of our canvassers down to 10th City, and they probably got 40 people that they wouldn't go. But when we offered them $100 incentive, they got on their bicycles and they rode to Brownsville, and homeless folks are smarter than you think they are. When they told them that you have to be fully vaccinated, you got to wait 30 days or you get the J&J, all of them said, hit me with that J&J. they got hit with that J&J because they want their $100. In fact, 2 of them start riding around your place, wanted their money on the spot. And so I had to deal with that. I said, no, leave Jerry and Ms. Carol alone. I had a meeting with them, a come to Jesus meeting with them Saturday. And I told them, you spread the word to you. And I said, I don't play the radio, doc. We can box or throw rock. Don't make me no difference. I'm here to help get my people vaccinated. Now, don't harass folk, because if you harass them, I won't give you the money. But when I gave each one of them $100, they like they want to give me a hug. To them, that $100 was like $1 million, I guess, to the folk. So that is a good thing, help vaccinated. That's all I got to say. But we own it. Me and Bergera, we meeting with tomorrow. Bergera and I will meeting with the CEO of Community Health Northwest Florida. And not only they want to help us get the people vaccinated in our community, but they want to offer other service so they can try to prevent some of all these long-term systemic problems that we have in our community because of not having access to proper medical care. And so we'll be meeting with them at 1 o'clock tomorrow. I was gonna back out because they didn't do all I want, but Jerry said, no, bro, William, you ain't backing out. See, I'll fight a rattlesnake in a phone booth if that's what it takes. And then my odds are, but I get him. If he ain't careful, I get him by his neck. We gonna get this virus. We gonna get this, y'all. And I need everybody help. Get on board with me. We got to get this because my frat brother just died. A big time fraternity brother in Capital Kingdom. Love the brother. He's bigger than life. He had both vaccines, but he kept going. He went, his wife talked. She told me, she said, Dr. William, he went to 2 funerals, came back, got the COVID, and now he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt me because these folks he going to the funeral for, run up to him. He was a big time legendary coach, a superintendent of schools. He was a big time personality, and he knew everybody and helped so many folk. So anytime he goes somewhere, they run up to him and bring their little COVID stuff up to him and gave him the COVID. Now he dead. That bothers me because that brother was a lover of humanity. He loved people, and now COVID took his life. Now he leave behind a widow and his children and grandchildren and things like that. He could have been with us a long time from now. But y'all got to help me. Anybody can help. Y'all help me. And I'm still fighting to get our black media support. They dragging their feet on that. I will not give up on that. We're gonna saturate our market. We'll trusted voices through trusted venues and tell them you dealing with a trusted face, and I want to send you to a trusted place. We got to get this done.
Yeah. Well, with the Pfizer being FDA approved, there's that's different from just emergency authorization. And so what my understanding is that now Pfizer, it's the only vaccine that's FDA approved, it puts them in another bracket where they can actually mandate, like the Army, if I'm right, they can, the military can now mandate that all of the soldiers become vaccinated. Now, they can mandate it with the Pfizer, but not if you have taken Moderna or Johnson & Johnson, because it's not FDA approved yet. Am I right?
Moderna has completed all of its trials as well, and it's probably going to be headed to FDA within the next week or so, and they will be approved within the next 2 or 3 weeks as well. So they read on their tail. They both going to be fully FDA approved. Only one, I don't know about J&J right now, but they, you know what? If they let me sit on that board, I approve all of them. Let's get vaccinated.
Now, with the approval comes, I'm sorry, Jerry, but with the approval of FDA comes with the legal right to mandate, like on the cruise lines, they can say, these are our guidelines and you have to mandate it. And I saw where it said cruise lines, airlines, restaurants and bars, concert halls and event halls, healthcare facilities, employers and schools can now mandate masks. Only through Pfizer. That's why I'm glad you're saying that the Moderna is going to be FDA approved as well soon.
Well, let me say this: if the FDA and CDC and all of that should have approved this already, with the many of people that has already been vaccinated. You got over almost 200 million people that's been vaccinated in the country at least one time. And it shows that that's a study within itself that's twice, 100 times bigger than the study that they usually use. So that shows that the vaccines are safe. It shows that people are doing well. That the majority that taking the vaccine are less inclined to be in the hospital or die from the COVID. The Delta variant is the one that's so violent, I would say, against the human body, because it's every time these things mutate, they're not getting weaker, they're getting stronger. And so we have to make sure that we do whatever we need to do to protect ourselves, even if it's double mask. One of the things Carlton said on one of the shows, he said the reason we had to have the vaccine is because people wouldn't mask up. And if everybody would have did the masking, the virus wouldn't have had the opportunity to do what it's doing now and mutating.
That's right. Yeah, and people are still not masking up. I mean, I literally just came from Target here in Chicago not that long ago. Most people in there, even though, Mayor Lightfoot and also Governor Pritzker of Illinois, Mayor Lightfoot of Chicago, they've already issued indoor mask mandates. So now that's the law in the state of Illinois. If you're indoors, vaccinated or unvaccinated, regardless, you have to wear a mask. And here I am, I'm in Target doing shopping. I'm seeing multiple people of different races, different genders, some, I saw one homeless guy, walking around the store, no mask on. And I look at even the employees who were working at Target, and a number of them were not even wearing the mask properly. They have their nose exposed
Yes.
and only their mouth covered. And so, I don't know if you heard what Dr. Fauci said a couple of weeks ago when he initially came out and said that he thinks we're going to have the COVID virus in control by the fall of 2022. And then, a couple of days later, he retracted the statement and said, actually, I made a mistake. I meant by the spring of 2022, earlier, right? And I think what happened is that he gave the truthful answer at first, and then I think President Biden and other lawmakers were like, whoa. We can't have people thinking they're going to deal with this for another year, because we're going to, it's a midterm election year next year. That's going to be a negative blowback on Democrats. So we need you to say it earlier for next year so that we're not completely off base, but we're also not, making it seem like it's going to be that much longer, right? So there's a lot. I just saw a report came out today saying that this is not going to be in control until 2023. So I'm just saying, I think that right now people are not adhering to the guidance, regardless of being vaccinated or not. I also think that something we've learned about the vaccine, now that we've had so many people receive it and we've seen it over time, is that the vaccine is not as effective at preventing transmission, but it is effective at reducing the likelihood of death, right? Like we saw with Jesse Jackson and his wife.
Right.
Jesse Jackson had to be hospitalized, okay? He was fully vaccinated. And he still had to be hospitalized. And even he was kind of treading on, okay, we don't know what's going to happen here. But because he was vaccinated, he's now in rehab. But I did read in the report that his Parkinson's disease is now a lot worse than it was before he was hospitalized. Unlike his wife, who was not vaccinated at all, and now she's in the ICU. And it could get really bad if you're in the ICU. And so I just think that we have to be honest about the vaccine. Yes, the vaccine is going to prevent you more than likely from dying, but that doesn't mean that it's going to, nip this virus in the butt. And I think that's why Dr. Fauci gave a much longer timeline than what he changed, later on. And so I'm just trying to be honest about what's happening here, and just us understanding that this is going to be a long haul fight, and that no matter us even vaccinating several people, it's good to prevent the death. But I think a lot of people think vaccine equals I'm done with the virus. So then they walk around no mask on, and they don't think they need to adhere to the guidance. And that's where the federal government, once again, Biden, not doing what he's supposed to do, in my opinion, and making sure to stress the masking more than the vaccine. I understand that they want to get the death count down, but the fact is that the more that this virus is in our system and our society, like what Jerry said, the higher likelihood it's going to mutate to be stronger rather than weaker, to a point that it might even evade the vaccines. So that's why it's like masking is more important than even getting vaccinated, but that's not what the messaging is telling people. And that's why people stop wearing masks, because they're like, oh, I'm vaccinated, I don't need to wear a mask. That's problematic. So
can I add a couple of things? And I agree with Brooke Carter to a certain degree. You got to leave my president alone. But check this out.
I'm leaning toward Carl today. I'm leaning this way.
You jump in ship, you better stay on the right ship. You don't jump in ship. You better stay on the right ship. Check this out. One of the things that it's been clear from the very beginning that the vaccine is only 94 and 95% effective if you got a Pfizer or Moderna. That means 4% or 5% of people who take the shot still will get infected. So but notice, out of 100 now, only 5 will get infected. 4 versus another 95. So there were a few breakthrough in which they love to show the breakthrough. I think the focus is on the wrong place there, because even when you used to get the flu shot, and I've been getting the flu shot since I joined the military back in 1977, they always said the flu shot was only 77% effective. So you could get the flu shot and then you still had a 30% chance of getting it. So this is so much more profound and effective than even the common flu shot they've been giving. And I probably only had the flu once or twice. I don't even ever remember having the flu, but I might have been sick once. So that's a good thing. But back to the masking piece where there's so much pushback from those Trump folks about mandating masks that we got governors issuing mandate and directives saying you will not institute a mask mandate. So that would get so tied up in the courts. It'll be 2 years before he can do anything. So he can only use his bully pulpit to a certain degree to urge and encourage, and like he can mandate for the federal because they work for him, and he can talk to the big companies, but to issue a mandate, it would be met with so much resistance till it wouldn't be effective. So I wouldn't put that on Biden for trying to make people mandate because they won't go on with it.
I would, Dr. Williams, because he's the president of the United States, and his influence it's not that he can control the state, but his influence with other people that's in those states can be significant, because he got to continue to push it and let the people know that he really care about them. Because we know for one thing that happened with people wearing masks. The common cold was almost non-existent. The flu was almost non-existent because of the mask. When they told people to wear the mask, it stopped the germ that flows from people by just being around each other with the common cold or the flu. So we know that the masks work. But the thing about it, Joe Biden, the people that's in Congress who have the power to do things, to me, they are too laid back on this issue. And the death, if they wait until for the end next year, the death toll gonna be up again, and that would be used against them. But he can say, I fought to make sure that the people wore the mask, and these are the people. And I would point the finger at every state governor. These are the people that caused the death in these different states. He don't need them, they need him. They need the federal government to fund different things in the state. And so he can, that bullet pulpit that he have is a powerful position that he has to know that he can use at his disposal. So the thing about it, he's not doing, to me, what he ought to be doing and pushing this hard as he personally can, or have some of his, like Kamala Harris, who is the vice president, to be out on the stump pushing this, even if he's not doing it. She, they got her overseas in Vietnam somewhere. For what? I know we got trade going on, but we also got life to save here in America.
So do y'all think there's more people that would not like the mandate than would like mandates, a mask mandate or a vaccine mandate? Do you think there's more people? So are you saying, Pastor Williams, that you said there'll be a lot of pushback with the mandate? So you're saying that the pushback will be more stronger than the people saying we want masks and we want to mandate that people get that vaccine. What are we saying? I mean, because there's a big debate about mandates.
Well, let me say this before we go to Dr. Williams. The majority of the people that are taking the shot now, they're always going to be a bunch of idiots who will just fight to the end. And that's why this is about 3 or 4 of those right-wing radio show announcers who've been leading this fight have died from COVID, because they was out there talking about, you don't need this, and this, and there's mandates are for, and all of them suckers are dead. I wanted to call them something else, but they are dead. And rightfully so, because they knew better. They had the opportunity to help. save the people, some 600,000 or more people. And a study come out of one of the universities said was 900,000 to 1 million people that died. And because so many died at home and so many, the death was covered up because of COVID, because they especially in these towns, in the states like Florida and tourist area, they covered it up.
Yeah, because you think a person does not want to be mandated to wear a mask or get a vaccine, and you're around other people. You have a job that you are servicing other people. Do you think that's right for them to say, personally, I'm not going to do it where you can infect other people? Nursing home facility workers need to be mandated. And I think with the Pfizer being approved that they must be, I think if I'm not mistaken, Biden required them to receive vaccinations. But
let me address that, Ms. Karen.
Okay.
This is very important. What I'm getting ready to say now. I hope everybody, everyone that have an ear, hear what I'm getting ready to say. Research just came out a few days ago that the masks that we are wearing are not effective. That everybody need to personally go and purchase an N95. And they're readily available now. Pass the word. I'm glad you all said that. I agree with all the hosts, all the panelists, that the president could probably use the bullpit more, but not mandate. I believe Jerry and Burkhardt, y'all said the same thing. I yield. Y'all won that point. I don't like but y'all won that one. But he could beat the drum every day. But you all know his philosophy of leadership is that he wants to work together with people. He doesn't want to push them too far. He won't be like a grandfatherly figure. And
we need a president, not a grandfather.
Right. But I'm going somewhere. I done lost my thought, Ms. Karen. That's it.
I'm sorry. You was talking about his style of government.
Yeah, but I had a good point I was getting ready to bring. I catch y'all late on this show.
It'll come back and you just jump right in, because when you said that about he has that grandfather way of leading, we don't need that. We need a leader. We need someone to come out.
Grandfathers can lead very effective. You know, grandparents to me are better parents than parents.
It's not going to work right now. That's not going to work right now.
Because you got people that was with him years ago that are still there, but they are not the same people. You got a whole new crop of people that's there that have no idea what governance all about. They want to be dictators. And that's why you got this person in Florida that says he's a governor, which he's not, but pretending to be a governor, telling people, that, he done did what, he done saved people in Florida with all these people dying, all this. You got thousands of children at home because 1 week you go to school and thousands of them are back home in Georgia, where you got the Republican governor in Georgia. 20,000 children the first week had to be at home. You got thousands here in Florida and Texas and Mississippi and Alabama that's at home. They're not going to be able to.
But Jerry, I got my point back.
Let him get it in.
I got my point back. My point was, I just had my daughter to order, and I'm gonna keep me a little carload of them. I'm gonna keep them. You all get an N95.
We have them. We have them.
We got them. I used to have them all the time early on, but then I went and got me little masks that kind of just for decoration, really. But they're a good thick mask. I thought they were good until I just heard a couple of days ago they're not effective against this Delta variant. So whoever listening to me, get your N95. This is what I was trying to say. The pandemic that we're in right now is the pandemic of the unvaccinated. That's what we got to get people to do, because if we can get them vaccinated, whether they wear the mask or not, we down to like 4 or 5%. So that's, to me, what I was trying. If we can get them vaccinated, they don't have to wear the mask. They might get ill, but chances are they won't be hospitalized. It won't be fatal. But so yes, mask is important. I think we probably ought to start wearing masks the rest of our lives because all the germs come out of these people, y'all sharing the same air and stuff like that. But we are not there now. But to get through this pandemic, we got to get the people vaccinated. That's why I think the president need to keep using his voice, stressing the importance and the essence, the vitality, the urgency of getting this vaccine. But we got to get them shots in the arm. And we get the shots in the arm, don't worry about the mask. But no, I won't say worry about it. Keep the mask, but get the shots and then talk about the mask. Yeah, get the shot. Get that.
But your president is not even talking about anything. He's not talking about voting rights. He's not talking about the mask. He's not talking about the vaccines. He's not talking about, so we're going, that's another show, a whole show. And I'm gonna make sure Carlton is on that show. We're talking I'm just saying.
Look, y'all, the way the president moves and walks away from the podium and to the podium, the president probably don't remember half of all this stuff.
hey, that's my ride or die. What did say? Biden all the way.
We are for Biden, but we're just saying Biden's gotta show
step his
something.
game up.
You know what?
I love Biden.
They're gonna use it against
I love another man. I love Biden.
They're gonna use it against him, like Gary said in the election. They're gonna use it against him. Him not going full forward. I promise you, they already got their campaign as far as Afghanistan already ready and set.
Hey, Bill, you remember that crazy woman who said that hey, God is sending angels from South America and sending Africa to put Trump back in office? You remember? But check this out. I ain't gonna be that crazy about Joe Biden, but I tell you what, I say this here. I ride and die with him. Hey,
we're with him, but we just want him to do the things necessary to make our jobs a little easier on the campaign trail.
Let me show you. Go ahead, Carlton.
That's why I say two things. I'm sorry, Dr. Williams. I gotta disagree with you. I'm going to go back to what I said originally. Mass, Trump getting vaccinated. Now, one reason why I'm saying that, and I don't know if you listened to Dr. Nguyen, the former health commissioner in Baltimore. She's on CNN. She's written a book. She's done op-eds now. Like she's become, in my opinion, the new Dr. Fauci. And she's even better than Dr. Fauci in that she's more honest than Dr. Fauci is because Dr. Fauci has to play politics. Because he's essentially working for the Biden administration. So if you listen to what Dr. Nguyen said, number one, Dr. Nguyen got the J&J shot. So she always says, what about people like me, right? I think there's at least 1 million people in America that are inoculated with the J&J vaccine, and nobody talks about what's going on with that or with them getting a booster or anything. Because we know that the J&J is not as effective against the Delta variant. So that's one reason why wearing a mask should trump getting vaccinated, right? Because not everybody got the Pfizer or Moderna. Like you just said earlier, a lot of homeless people got the J&J. They are walking around without a mask and engaging with people. That's going to cause community spread. You need to wear a mask before getting vaccinated. Another reason why that's important is because the Delta variant has affected more than anybody in our population, children, okay? We have a lot more children that are hospitalized and that have died due to COVID Delta than to the previous strains of COVID. And we also know that children who are under the age of 12 cannot get vaccinated. So once again, another reason why wearing a mask trumps getting vaccinated. And to me, that should be the messaging. And Dr. Nguyen also says that every day that she's on MSNBC or CNN, she is also, like me, pushing against the Biden administration. Not because we're saying they're horrible, but because we know they can do better, and they're choosing not to. And so that is the problem.
That's it.
I like one last counter, and I'll be quiet. When the Biden came in, he said to America, listen, I need to get you to herd immunity. If we could get to herd immunity, our kids wouldn't get affected. If we can get 70 to 80% of the people vaccinated, that would then the virus would not mutate. And so sure, mask still is very important, and I take that back. But this vaccine is the way out because as you said earlier, Ricardo, people wearing the mask up under their nose. They put it up, they put their mask on their lip with the mouth and the nose out. They put the mask on, but they won't wear it properly. And so if we can get the people, we can get to herd immunity, 7 to 8%, it'll stop all these mutations so that the vaccine will be effective. So the urgency to me is really fighting the war on both fronts. Wear the mask, but at the same time, put an urgency on getting vaccinated.
Mandate.
Yeah, Pastor. Okay, you all listen to this. You know, they had Al Sharpton had a march in Washington, the March for Federal Election Reforms, and he said this. He said this about Biden. He said, "You said the night you won that Black America had your back and that you were going to have Black America's back. Well, Mr. President, this is Sharpton talking. They're stabbing us in the back. In 49 states, they've got their knives out stabbing us in the back." And he's saying to Biden, you know, you said you're going to have our backs. When are you going to have our backs?
Mhm.
You know, that I think that's what Black America is saying. When are you going to actually have our backs? When are you going to talk about the voting rights?
Yeah.
You know, the suppression of voting rights in America. I haven't heard him talk about that. Kamala Harris, she's supposed to be over it.
But what I'm saying, they got her outside the country.
I thought they put her in charge of the vaccine kind of stuff.
They did. They put her in over the voting rights, the voting bill, and the vaccine.
Yeah.
But she can't do it if she in Vietnam. Like she just left Hong Kong.
No, she's
going to
back.
Vietnam.
No, she's back. She's back.
She
got back.
Hey.
She got back like 4 days ago. She's been back. Yeah,
Do y'all remember what I said about
Why isn't he pushing voting? Why ain't they going out like what he's doing with the infrastructure and really talking about voter suppression?
Watch this, you all. You all don't forgot what I said. But you know what? I just learned number one, preaching 101. You got to preach a sermon 7 times before people can hear you.
Okay, give us the 7 times.
I said Biden is giving them through the end of this year because he want to get some other stuff out the way.
Doctor, a lot of folks don't have to the end of this.
Yeah, they don't have that time.
But watch this. Watch this. He can't blow it up right now because he needs certain things in place. He want to get his infrastructure because that is crucial for.
It's passed.
Right. No, it's still stuck.
Yeah, still stuck in the
okay.
Yeah, they sent it over to the House. And the House won't vote on it until they'll pass.
That's right. It passed. That's right.
And then they gonna send the 3.5 back for them to vote, and they ain't gonna vote on that till they vote on the 1 point. So that's gonna take a little while. But yeah, just watch this. I honestly believe. Now, see, you all may not have noticed something about Biden, and I know you all think I done drunk his tea. I have, because I've been riding with him ever since when I seen him stand up for Senator Barack Obama. I said that's a black man in a white body. Watch this here. Watch this here. Biden made a call about getting out of that war. He said, "I'm getting out on the 31st."
Right.
And
which he shouldn't have done. He should have done that.
No. I think
it's good instead of putting a date on it.
Well, but this is the point I'm trying to say. He's sticking to his word. Yeah. All the pressure. Yeah, and so he's going to stick to his word that he got our back. See,
okay.
they don't see him coming. They don't see him coming. They all thought that if they start get on that like a bunch of bullfrogs making all that noise, that'll scare him. He got ice blood running through his vein. He ain't paying that.
You know what?
Yeah, he gonna get it done.
But the thing about it though, Doc, 40 some states is already that, you know, he talking about bipartisanship, but 48 states is not bipartisan. They are changing laws. Those laws, to change those laws back, even if they pass HR 1 and John Lewis Voting Rights Act, it's still going to take time for it to get into the system. And that's why we are saying it's a major rush.
Although 48 states introduced those laws, 22, I think, are controlled by Democrats. They did not go any laws. So 48 states, they introduced laws, but they didn't get past it. Them white folk put anything up, but they didn't go any law. Am I right, Rick Carter?
Right? You know, Don Biden standing his ground on this situation here is nothing new. Leaders of the free world said the buck stops here. Other than Tricky Dick and that last administration, the buck has always stopped at the president. A good leader will take full responsibility for what happens or transpires during his administration. So for you to say that he is standing firm and digging in and he said the 31st and that's what he's going by, that doesn't make him great. When you make a decision, you have to stand by your decision. I mean, there were some mistakes made, but I don't think that makes him this great guy because he's standing by what he said. That's what a great leader does.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
I mean, everybody hating on my president today, man.
I ain't hating on him, brother. Man, I like Joe. I like Joe. I promise I do. But the facts has to be told.
Pastor Williams, I want to say that you do have supporters. Vernon Watson said he agrees with you. Lois, another person, Lois Blessed Pruitt says, right, Mr. Williams, stand your ground.
Wait, that sounds like a law in Florida.
So, but we just said we're not against him.
Yeah,
we're just saying
it's a duty. It's 18 states though, Doc, has already passed these laws.
Not 18.
You know, and I know, but these state legislators are going to push. The problem is if one of these Democrats lose the governorship, that's what we're talking about. If they lose the governorship, then the whole country's in trouble. It ain't just black people we're talking about. We're talking about black people, white people, brown people, other people, and disabled, whoever it may be, is going to lose the democracy. Because the thing about it, we won't be able to vote in this country. And we're the only people in the country our voting rights have to be renewed every so many years. Yes. That in itself is a fallacy. It is an insult to the black people of this country who have been here longer than most of those people who are making the law. We were here before the Declaration of Independence. We were here. We were here before any of those suckers came to America. We were here. We was traveling the world over, building your civilization. But now we are the only people that have to have a Voting Rights Act every so many years. No, something wrong with that. There's a constitutional amendment, the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. All of it is nullified because somebody decided, well, we're not going to let these people vote regardless of what's in place. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment should be applied every day according to the Constitution. You know, everything else in the Constitution is the Second Amendment is pushed. I mean, they trying to get rid of the First Amendment too, but the Second Amendment they love. You know. Well,
it's 8:26. But we want to talk quickly. I know you want to talk about this, Jerry, the Supreme Court ruling in regards to the eviction moratorium. Y'all know about that. So we got a few minutes to discuss that.
I'm gonna let Carlton hit on that ruling from a legal standpoint.
Yeah, I do want to say, you know, in regards to like the Supreme Court decision on pretty much undoing the eviction moratorium that was put in place by President Biden, allowing people who are currently not able to pay rent because of everything that happened last year and what we're dealing with, you know, in the wake of what happened last year, now giving their landlords and property managers the right to evict them, when initially that moratorium prevented that. Now we know that Congresswoman Cori Bush out of St. Louis, Missouri, she's well known for, I think she was sleeping out on the steps of the Capitol for at least 5 days in protest, trying to encourage the Biden administration to extend the moratorium beyond the original date that it was set. And he ultimately did do that, even though he did it with a lot of reluctance, because he knew that the Supreme Court could very well strike down, that decision by making their own decision that it's unconstitutional for the moratorium to be in place any longer, which is what they did. They held that it is unconstitutional for it to be in place any longer. So now we have a lot of people that are once again have to worry about being put back on the street. We're still dealing with the pandemic, which means that if they don't have adequate and safe housing, then they're going to be susceptible to community spread of the virus, right? Once again, another push for why we need a mask, regardless of vaccination, because when you have a mask in those kind of situations, it's going to reduce the level of spread. With vaccinations, it does not guarantee reduced transmission. And so, so that's the problem. Now, something I want to highlight is that President Biden gave a speech this morning. He did have a press conference about the Hurricane Ida, right? That's now hitting New Orleans and that region. Now, if you saw that press briefing and that press conference, did you hear him mention anything about the voting rights march yesterday?
No.
Or voting rights legislation? Okay. Did you hear him mention anything about the eviction moratorium, the decision from the Supreme Court undoing that moratorium?
No.
Okay. Did you hear him talk about Afghanistan?
Well, a reporter brought that question up, and he said that wasn't the time to talk about it, and I agree with him on that.
And then he walked away, right?
Walk away, right?
Right. Okay. There we go. I just wanted to say, it goes back to what Dr. Williams and what Mr. Snow just said. The buck stops with the president. Okay, and we don't want a grandfather president. We want a strong, bold president for a very bold time, not only in America's history, but in human civilization. Okay? One thing I'm going to give Trump, and I don't care if people don't like me saying this, he was a bold president. Okay?
He was a nut.
But he was a bold president. Why? Because he came through with an agenda for his constituents.
Right.
Not for the country, okay?
That's right.
For his constituents.
You're right.
And he pushed through that agenda regardless of Congress, all right?
That's right.
Regardless of the Supreme Court. He used his executive power to the nth extent to make sure that what he wanted happened. And those first 100 days, he undid almost everything that Obama put in place over 8 years of Obama being president. Almost a decade was undone.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Okay, Dr. Williams. He winning me. He 2-1 now, Dr.
100 days. Why? That's why. And I'm saying that Biden can also be a bold president. And he's choosing not to. That's all I'm saying. Regardless, he's choosing not to. So.
Okay, well, Vernon, I know you can't see him, but did you have something to say?
I think he want to be let in.
Oh, he want to be let in? Well, I don't see, because
I need some help. Hey, y'all got the deck stacked.
But we're not saying,
Dr. Williams. That was a good
We're not
point.
saying-
That was
No,
we're not saying that we are against fighters.
I totally disagree. Trump was
I don't agree.
mafia.
Well, no, y'all go ahead with the show.
Go ahead, Vernon.
Bernie, can we hear you? We didn't hear you.
He said something. Go ahead, Pastor. What were you saying?
Go Vernon.
Go for Vernon.
We can't hear him.
He was talking out.
Yeah, he just
I know.
unmuted, but he went back to mute.
Tell him unmute.
Okay.
No, I said, no, go ahead, because I hold the show for another 2 hours. No problem. But I agree with Dr. Williams.
All right, he'll keep it
Give the
going.
man a chance.
All right, okay.
Well, let me go. But he wasn't an idiot like Trump. Give him an opportunity. The man only been in office 9 months. Okay? I think he will come through, but everything has time in its place. I'm going.
But that's what we're saying.
Thank you, Vernon. Now that's my man. Me and but Vernon gonna be my ride and die.
But we're saying it's a short window to
Right.
next year's election.
That's right.
Everything started in earnest after Labor Day. Anybody that's been working in politics know that once after Labor Day, all the campaigning started in earnest. That means that people will not have an 18, but some of the states that Joe Biden needs the most to win have already put laws in place, like here in the state of Florida, in Georgia, where Dr. Warnock is at, who's the senator there, you know, in Virginia and other places around the country. We're saying the you know, people will not have a chance to vote in those different states. Even here in Florida, you have a chance to vote. But the thing about it is they're gonna make it so difficult for people. You got to have all these different IDs. We're gonna have Eubanks on, but the laws that they have changed and people don't know about are so draconian that it's almost impossible to have IDs to get a chance to vote.
But Jerry, we have time, and I want you. Listen to me now. Y'all listen to me now. Listen. Because once the federal government file suit against whatever they're trying to do, they're gonna put a moratorium. They cannot implement that until it go through the Supreme Court. Did you hear what I just said? Once they file, once the Biden administration file, it has to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And if Biden administration won't like move it up to the top of the agenda, then it, you know, the federal government can request that it go. And then the Supreme Court can just reach down and grab a couple of cases if they want to. But normally when they put it on there, that's gonna nullify that. That's gonna give time. And what's his name out of South Carolina? I was watching him this morning. What's his name?
Tim Scott? No. Tim Scott?
I can't think of Tim Scott.
North Carolina. Clyburn.
South
Clyburn.
Clyburn was on TV this morning. They asked him a question. They asked him two powerful questions. He combined them together. They said, "You're a good friend of President Biden." He said, "Have you talked with him about moving HR1 and SB1 and John Lewis and all of that?" He said, aren't you good friends?" He said, "Well, I won't. Yeah, we are good friends. I won't tell you what I've talked with him about." He said, "But we talk frequently, and I talk to his administration daily, almost daily." He said, "But I will say this to you." He said, "I am confident that HB1 and SR Senate bill and House bill and the John Lewis bill, they're gonna all be rolled into one and they will become law." Now, he said that on TV this morning. He said, and so the guy said, "Well, how you gonna get it past the filibuster?" He said, "Because I have talked with Joe Manchin and I talked with Senator Brent, and I'm not asking them to blow it up. I'm asking them to carve out a way, because this deal with constitutional that they can go around the filibuster, and he is confident that this going to go into play." So I'm saying, y'all give my president a little time. They working behind the scene, giving Joe Manchin a little stick and give Celebrant a little carrot, and working with those other 10 Democrats that kind of on the line. And then when he dropped that stick on them, he dropped the hammer on them, it's going to go through, because they all know we need this in order to stay in power. And so it's going to happen. We just got to give our president a little time to get some other things done. And then, hey, if I saw him stand up to John McCain, and him and John McCain were bosom buddy for Barack Obama. He told John McCain, "How dare you talk to Barack that way? He a senator just like us." And Barack is the only black person in the room, and John McCain started, he told Obama to shut his mouth. You are just a little freshman senator. You should just be listening. Let us talk. Joe Biden said, wait a minute, John, you don't talk to him that way. I'm like, wow, you don't talk to him that way. He's a senator just like us. He stood up for the only black person in the chamber. And John McCain backed down.
Doing the right thing doesn't necessarily make him a great person. That was the right thing.
right.
That was the right thing to do. I mean,
but how many people will do the right thing when you're around your friends like that?
Yeah, well, but yeah, that's integrity. Doing the right thing all the time. I mean,
that's why he's my man.
Yeah, I'm not against Joe Biden. Don't get me wrong, but him standing up for the man that he should have. Michael Wilkerson on our Facebook stream says Biden is being led by Republican Clyburn. They got a plan.
That's for you, Pastor. Another one on your side. So
let me say this. I still say we have to be very careful with time. Time is not on our side.
Yes.
This is about timing. And you know, we all fought for Joe Biden, worked for Joe Biden, worked to get him in office, promoted.
Yes.
We were out here promoting all of that.
Yes.
But I'm saying now is the time to make a move with the Voting Rights Act, because it's you know, to get these things out of legislation after they've already been implemented is going to be the problem.
Yes.
And then there are people they are putting in place. They're saying we'll overturn the election that me and you and others voted for or fought for. Now they are able to overturn that election. And that's the danger of what we are talking about. We're talking about the urgency of the moment. And it's urgent out here that we do something to protect the rights of people in this country, because you got on the other side, they are total fascists. They have went total fascism and dictator and autocratic. And so they don't care anything about the American people. They want a apartheid form of government where a small minority rules the rest of us.
well, we're gonna let you have the last word because it's now 10 minutes over. Last word, and then we're gonna end the show.
Yes. Let me say this, Ms. Carroll. Hey, Jerry, you just said an intriguing point. This what I believe, this way Bricardin come in. Someone ought to sue the state of Georgia and take it to the Supreme Court to see, can you put people in place that can overturn the election? I believe that is unconstitutional. They can't do that.
They already sued them.
They've
The
already,
DOJ
I
sued
think
them.
Latasha Brown and them has already enacted some legislation.
Yeah, they sued already. They sued.
Right.
Well, the DOJ, the U.S. DOJ already sued Georgia for their law.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that need to get to the Supreme Court, because if that be the case, then why have election anymore? If you
That's the point we were making.
But
Yeah,
to me, that's
we were making.
unconstitutional. And
It is.
meanwhile, the president, when he gonna get these rules passed, and it's gonna nullify that, and in the Supreme Court, even though they Trump appointees, they can't go against it, because if that be the case, then they know we're gonna be in a dictatorship because the Democrats could take over just like the Republicans, and then they could get rid of all of them. So they're not gonna go for that.
Democrats don't have that.
Yeah, Democrats don't have that. They don't have that.
Eye of the tiger like
That
that.
dictator mentality.
And the Supreme Court is definitely extremely conservative, which ties into the eviction moratorium decision. So to be honest, I don't know if you want it to go to the Supreme Court, right? Under the current composition. So, I mean, the fact that the DOJ sued Georgia on that law, I don't know if that's a good thing. If that goes up to the Supreme Court and they decide in favor of Georgia, then that's going to apply to everybody, including Texas, who just passed their law after all those Texas Democrats boycotted the legislative session. Now they passed the law, so all their efforts were for nothing.
Right,
So-
right.
As conservative as our Supreme Court is now, I'm putting a little faith in them that they'll do the right thing because they threw out a lot of that foolishness with the voter registration. So I'm putting a little faith in them that they are men of integrity and will do
But
the right thing.
Bill, you warned me back.
Well, we're at the end of the show, you all. But Bill, would you talk to our viewers in regards to our voices and how they can help?
Yeah, I'll be glad to.
Shout outs.
Yes, ma'am. I want to shout out Shirley Baker, Big Al Young, and Lois Bless Brewer first. The entire panel, even Vernon, whom we can't see pictured. Man, I love you guys. I love the element of the show. We have a right to disagree. We reserve the right to disagree, but go on loving. And I think that is what makes our show great. Even our listeners and our followers, they make great points on our Facebook stream. And I just appreciate each and every one of them, Miss Helen, M. Salter Stokes, everybody that participates. But this is the point in the show where everybody, because we have a lot of people that watch us on WBQP TV and the McIntosh Principle that doesn't get a chance to weigh in or say anything. But this is a point in the show where everybody can participate, and we ask that you help us with continued donations. I can't say donations because we've got so many faithful followers that support us financially, and we're grateful for it. But this show tonight was just off the chain. I love it. I love different opinions. But moreover, please help us. If you can, send us a check or money order to P.O. Box 1024, Cantonment, Florida 32533, P.O. Box 1024, Cantonment, Florida 32533. Those watching us on the McIntosh Principle, click on the PayPal icon and donate. We ask that you do your best you can. We know that people, if you're watching us on the McIntosh Principle, you got the wherewithal to help us. And we ask that you go ahead and do that. Thank you guys so much, panel. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We're going to pass it over to Jerry. We won't have enough time to do shout outs for everybody because we are running late. But we're going to pass it over to Jerry. He'll have the last words.
Okay, just real quick. I got to say that my nephew's birthday is today, Marquise in Arkansas. His birthday is today. He turned 20 today.
Happy birthday.
Very smart young man. I mean, the dude is super smart. And my sister Aura Lacey, who his mother, we just want to say happy birthday and keep doing what you're doing. Our dude is really smart. We expect him to be a senator or a president someday. But also, real quick, we want to thank Vernon Watson for WBQP TV that he showed the show on, Fire Stick, Roku, and go to YouTube and what you call it, my mind and went back, subscribe to his YouTube channel. It don't cost you anything. Go to Vernon Watson YouTube channel. It don't cost you anything, and subscribe, and you can watch it on YouTube or just on his television station, WBQP TV 12.1, and the McIntosh Principle, and you can always watch us right here on Facebook. We want to thank all of our hosts and all the people that watch from around the country, whether it's in Chicago or other places, Detroit, Arkansas. We want to thank all of you for watching, and we will see you next Sunday. Oh, one other thing. If all of the hospitals, I think in the South now is just about at capacity of full. So this hurricane is going to do some irreparable damage. So if it's some issues that you think that we ought to address, give us a call or just hit us up on Facebook and let us know what's going on in your town. And if you want us to address it, we will address it. But we want to make sure that people know that the hospital beds are full, the ICU from people who have got COVID. And we know there's a lot of people going to be hurt from this hurricane. We hope they don't, but it's a possibility.
The two young ladies that we had said last week that we were going to have on the show to address your questions, they're going to be on next Sunday's show. Is that correct, Dr. Williams and Jerry?
We're gonna meet with them tomorrow, and we'll just make a decision.
So that we can promote that because we want them to have advice.
Yeah.
So that'll be fine. Okay, with that, you all panel, we're gonna see you next week. with community conversations. And y'all have been great tonight. We'll see you. Stay safe. All right.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night.